breaking out wide, a little bit further west for them. They'll head towards Pmgc and Stauber, probably swing down towards Yasnaya in the next couple of minutes.
We're in a big game here now for Alpha 7. Get things back on track. I think for them, this will be a good time to bring things back into the fold on match 4. It's the only 2 more matches after this one before we head into that final run towards that grand finals itself. See exactly who will take the prize home, and now it's no longer a case of Nova not being in the picture. Could have been anyone towards the top, but now Nova is really chasing after this one.
That's a hard northern circle there, Blank. Oh, it's going to go all the way up north. Slap bang on top of T2K in Severny. This engagement in North Georgia, well, I say engagement, this drop in North George, 4 angry men. All 4 of them are in North George. Alpha 7 have sent 2 towards North George, with Mythic all the way to the northeast side in a compound closer towards shooting range. And actually Carrillo sending out almost towards Zaki.
Bit of a change of pace here for Alpha 7. I like this as well. It's a good adjustment. Considering we saw 4 AM get ahead of them, and they were a bit worried to move off to that eastern side. Instead now they have Carrillo towards Zaki. Alpha 7 Mythic over towards shooting range, looting that area. This is going to give them a lot of great anchor points now going forward. They can move over towards, and 4 AM might not be able to get the drop on them, getting ahead much quicker. Still, for 4 AM and Alpha 7, this is probably the best opportunity for them to get a very nice and central spot. Rozhok still open, so teams like Alter Ego, Influence Kevin and Yasnaya can quickly get across the bridge as well, and Inco opt to head up towards Stauber. In fact, as soon as they saw that circle pop, they stopped moving down towards Yasnaya, picked up some of the more likely vehicles in that area towards Stauber and started looting. So smart move from them. This will give them a chance here. It's been a fair few times in the last couple of games that they have been outside of the circle with no real hope to actually push through the masses of teams that were ahead of them.
Geek Fam playing on the mouth of the Western Bridge. 50 seconds before phase 1 circle closes. Godlike Stalwart, they dropped long and late towards Novo and military base. They won't have had the most time in the world to get this loot on board. See level 1 helmet and vest there, 4 top. Wolves making their rotation as well. That's right up the center, north from Pachinki. Moving up to the church now, a launching point towards the ruins, potentially up towards Rozhok.
Pachinki always a great springboard for a lot of these teams, just in terms of being able to rotate fairly easily from that spot. Buddhadam really not had breakout performance as of yet. Alter Ego, in fact, passing them now with 57 points in 13th place. In a really good position to actually start catching up a lot of these other teams towards 7th. Really good standout here for Indonesia, for a team that looked almost out of the picture on day 1.
They were in the teens of points at the start of today, so they have done well to kick it up a gear with that previous game, but it is a question of maintaining that, as we have questioned time and time again from Inco. At the top of the tables, obviously now being tied on 93 with Inco and S2G. The tiebreaker, of course, meaning Inco wins out with the chicken dinner count that they've had. S2G falling behind on that metric, but it is still very, very close. And then 3rd and 4th is also tied between the Influence Kemen squad and Nova, 82 apiece with Alpha 7 right at the door with 80.
Again, though, starting the day at 78 points, John. Only 2 points found so far for Alpha 7 over 3 matches. That buffer definitely slipped away. No longer that safety net beneath them. It's time to start getting the boots dug into the ground. Get something done here, because it's really starting to slip away from a little bit. Nova ahead of the 82, tied with Influence Kemen, 82 points apiece. Influence Kemen drawing ahead now of Alpha 7. It's kind of what I expected as well. This team was a favourite of mine, honestly, coming from Americas. They just looked leagues ahead of most Western teams, in fact. That includes HVP as well as Mad Bulls. Before they had their drop-offs in performance over in the group stage. But yeah, I think Influence Kemen definitely that favourite Brazil team for me. Inco, a strange strategy that seems to work out, and you respect them for it. just think that Influence Chem are kind of that team that just keeps on trucking.
Just always there, always in the conversation. Coming into PMGC, we were worried about S2G, Blank. We were worried that this was a team that had dropped off a little bit, qualified through PMGC points, remember, to the group stages, and didn't manage to get one of those top spots in the European regional, which would have seen them in had they not been up the top for the PMGC points from Turkey, from the PMPL points, sorry, from Turkey. So people were worried about their group stage, but they came in swinging, they absolutely blasted out, and now here they are in Jakarta in the finals, tied for the top spot. This is a team that I don't think too many are going to be worried about from here on out.
Yeah, some seriously clutch players on the side of S2G. We saw that throughout the group stage as well, with some seriously potent moments from them. I think there's a player on that team that I kind of discount, honestly. I think every single player has their own role to play. Every single one of those players can become the fragger if necessary, which is really good in any team. Now to have that to fall back on in those dangerous moments that anyone can perform at any given time. T2K would get some more points on the board, currently in 7th place, not doing too badly for themselves. A lot of ties at the moment though. 63 and 63 between Fireflux and 4am, 67 and 67 between T2K and Geek. Again, this is just one of those lobbies where we have a real even spacing of points, starting to break away a little bit now towards that top side. So we meld into that middle pack.
Vampire now 16th place on the table, 13 points clear at the bottom there. They were saying over on the desk that Satani had indicated that they weren't going to change anything. It seems that that is true. And unfortunately for them, not changing anything means that they are going to continue to perform under expectation in a way that is not what you'd expect of a PMWI champion. Back to back, I think they earn, pretty vast sums of money over there as well.
Yeah, I think Max was actually talking to Corpo, I was talking about this on the desk, that they said that now they are going to make some changes coming into this match 4. So there are going to be some differences for Vampire Esports. We'll see exactly what those are. It looks like they are moving a lot earlier than usual. I think that was necessary at this point in time. I don't think you can really play edge with this.
Ooh.
With this current lobby, who are just sending it for that center, sending it for those priority compounds. The thing is, with this level of players, these level of teams, they could quite easily hold onto these compounds. Once they pick up a priority compound, very difficult to dissuade them from that position. It has to be a very clean crash, and we haven't seen a lot of those recently just because of how skilled these players are at holding.
It is very, very difficult to make those crashes unless you can capitalize or third party on the engagement. Unlikely you'll get away with it unscathed. Nova near to S2G, 2 heavy hitters in the lobby. Frozen takes a lot of damage early. Order cannot find the lineup. Order moves on down, and a sliver of HP gets the flush as well. Frozen and Order in still, but in comes Silas and Hamzy for backup. They swipe each other away. Oh no, he's run himself over with the vehicle, and Hamzy's low on the HP as well. Looks for the flush onto Paraboy, and potentially even needs to go for this res. Alpha 7 are nearby, and Hamzy falls. It is absolute chaos here, Blank.
That rundown, so unfortunate. I think they got out of the vehicle just a little bit late, a little bit early. In fact, there is a momentum base that you can hit and get out quite safely. Fortunately for S2G, a little bit too soon. Everything came crumbling down around them, because in reality of things, that was a good play from S2G, a very quick response.
But down they go. And Alpha 7, we literally just spoke about it, right? Unless you can third party on an engagement, it's going to be difficult to roll up unscathed. That's exactly what Alpha 7 have managed to do here. IHC going to be peppering them from the back now as well. 2 players underground, Order and Frozen for Nova, to stay alive near the shooting range. IHC looking to move through, but Mafioso has got the oversight to slow them down, to give his teammates room to breathe.
Absolutely required here as well, John, to get them back into a position where maybe they can hold on. 3 players, 3 eliminations though. Now having to deal with IHC. That's 1 knock going their way, so perhaps holding on. Nova just 2 players hiding in the bunker here. It's an okay start, one elimination, but they've got to go a little bit further than this. And right now, Alpha 7 have got them in pitched warfare. Unlikely they're getting out from underneath this bunker. They are locked in.
Mythic tries to keep them pouring down the stairs. Try to bank it off the wall. Does take a little bit of damage. And doesn't throw any more with the smoke there. Oh, steps back up towards it. And again, backed off. Such a small route of ingress. You can't really push down here, especially with Frozen on the boxes. With 3 players, it's likely that you do lose this. With 4, you might want to chance it, but even then, it's super risky.
100%. 4 players might have been nice. Not enough with that. Getting the refrags on the 4 would have been a little bit dicey. With the 3, the capability of the guys coming through from Nova, so unlikely. Great shots coming in from Yuhai. This guy is an adaptive player, a freak when it comes to speed. His reactions, so good.
Spins Godlike Stalwart out on the buggy, picks up the flush. Couple more players still to go, and a northward shift again for the players on that south side. Keeps Severny in it, Inco on the south point of it. As Wolves taking on 4 Angry Men, going back and forth. This is on the east side of Severny in the hills, right on the crash, and 4 Angry Men sweep them aside. You were talking about consistently and staying in that conversation when you were referring to Influence Chem, and they're always there. I feel like 4 Angry Men, they have a similar reputation, but they just haven't stood up as much.
Some unfortunate games for 4 AM. Not quite able to get as far as they'd like, and I think some of that has been due to circles today.
Uh-oh.
Geek Fan moving through. Alter Ego, though, find themselves positioned to maybe hold out the guys from Geek Fan, who are sent away now. Inco was able to move down from Stalbert. Good decision at the start of the game to play up there. With the time they had, swinging across in the parachutes, it's just a perfect choice for them. They've moved into a very central spot, to be honest. Should assist in the rest of the game.
A lot of points being taken away. I say points, sorry, players being taken away from the teams in the top 5. Only Inco remains at full force. And we've seen what they can do if they're left alone for a long time in these circles. Fireflux nade over towards IHC, that is inside Severny, the northern end of it. So with the buildings as cover, that might be a little bit of an opportunity. Look at that, they keep pouring them on through. IHC have lost 2 now, so Fireflux looking to control North Severny.
Good position to hold, actually. Fireflux can keep it held down versus IHC. Unfortunately, taking a knock there onto Solus. Fireflux currently in 10th place, losing that lead to 4 AM. Fortunately, 4 AM is now down to just 2 players right in dead center of Severny.
Alpha 7 pushing in from that western side as well, forcing IHC to make decisions. Solke down for Fireflux, a nade from Alpha 7 over onto Demo as forward position Godless does get res by Ziol. Nades can continue to be thrown out, but Mythic wants to capitalize on the position and will push into the building, wants the challenge. Fades away just a little bit, spotted on the cross. Can he get back behind the wall? Yes, he can. Ziol not able to curtail that rotation. Demo still not res. Alex will start to stick it now with the smoke starting to bloom as Revo puts a Molotov in to stop any pushes coming on through. Ziol cooking the nade, wanting to launch it over towards Alpha 7. In the meantime, Fireflux back up to fighting form. Geek Fam on the eastern side have managed to find a little bit of compound to play with. Further south, it's the warehouse for Buradam.
Finally find their way into the circle now. Buradam really been struggling over these past matches. Find themselves in position again. Everyone here in the Pmgc, there's not a single team that is on horrible points. Moves up though, Geek Fam sends Alter Ego back, that's 2 down already.
And a flush as well, 1 more potato to go, and will be found. Snipes is laying into them with an EDS. 1 player now standing and 8 rounds, 8 cartridges still to chunk on out. 1 player for Alter Ego, and he'll start to step up now. Renelrex will go for 1. Damn rude. Goes low as well. The spray around the side with the DBS. Oh, it's just too much. the UMP to find the final points of damage, but Geek Fam are getting rolled up on. It's Buradam with Kengzo, and Godlike Stalwart have a DBS of their own, able to dispatch the players in green. And Scry stays alive. Pika knocked but Rezable.
Such an effective weapon for the guys from Geek Fam. Snipes really putting in the work with DBS. Beautiful stuff. 1-2 punch the entire time. He was extremely accurate with it. Waited for his moment marvelously, but now Stalwart on a piece of the action. Molotov doesn't go through the window. Won't give them that space that maybe they wanted, but the nade, again, wood drops out the side, but it might be enough if it pops right now.
Top row, beautiful stuff. In comes the push as well. Snipes now in a 1 versus 1. He hopped out the window to take the teammate down. 5 cartridges. DBS versus DBS. Godlike Stalwart around the door frame. He pushes through and Scry to close down the fight. Finally, 4 teams have rolled up into these buildings and only 1 player has survived it. It's Scry from Godlike Stalwart.
A cacophony of DBS as well, just resounding through that compound. I almost felt like Snipes was going to take it all the way home. And so successful with that DBS in the first place. What a truly marvellous moment if he was able to finish that one out. But now only Scry left, and realistically, it was Geek Fam to make everyone pay much more dearly for that position than they had hoped.
Scry now has DRS to deal with. An aid in, that looked pretty perfect, and Delta shows us just how it's done for DRS. The team from Nepal, they started off with the first chicken dinner of the tournament blank back in match 1, but since then they've been fairly middling. However, they are still in 6th place and very much still a part of the conversation now on that east side. Really one of the very few teams with power outside of Severny right now. Inco, they've been hunkered down on the south of Severny and allowing these 3 teams to their north to just fight it on out, to duke back and forth.
Buradam, still with 3 players, moves towards that northern side. 4 AM, still with a strong spot in the twins there. Obviously only 2 players, but if they can get further along right now with the 4 limbs they have and get a high placement, the amount of players remaining, the amount of teams, it is quite likely we'll see a lot of them fall soon, especially with how clumped up they are over on that western edge. Inco may want to leave or take some good shots over towards anyone that's moving out from that northern side. Fireflux, A7, IHC. Nova also still in the mix with 2 players.
T2K from the south will need to push up north. Vampire will be in their way if they try to move a little bit further east of that. Buradam will shoot down, as well as 4 angry men, but Inco will hold that south point fairly firmly. 4 nades in hand for Inco over there. I think they might have spotted that Alpha 7 got a little bit close. Nova trying to skirt around on the south side. Spotted by Vitali. Lights up Frozen, gets the flush. Order up to the wall. They know he's there. And Order is not going to be able to make it any further. Nova down, eliminated. 11th place, 1 elimination. That's going to drop them beneath Alpha 7. And now it's the Brazilian teams with a chance to realign for the top 3 on the tables.
A very good chance as well. Influence coming up towards that northern side. Inco tucked away on the west. For Alpha 7, this really is an important game for them. 4 eliminations, down to 1 player now. Not really a hope to get their fellow teammate back up again. T2K as well, taking heavy casualties on this side.
3 players left. Active and Reservoir behind the rock. They are in this next zone, so as long as Vampire don't take them down, Buradam is their main threat here from behind. And of course, Buradam will need to be pushing on in to this next circle. The smoke's all starting to fade now. That smoke line really shunted out of control. And Vampire on a solid ridgeline here on the east of Severny. Potential here to put in a shift.
Yeah, they could get a huge amount of eliminations over towards that western side. Killer. Very dangerous to that one. Swims over the top of some of those players over towards the north and Influence Kemin. Certainly a terrifying weapon to come up against. Revo though still going. Can't count out Revo either from Alpha 7. This guy is an absolute beast when it comes to solo clutches.
Put it down 2 players behind T2K still in the queue to get into the next circle. 2 players on the forward, sorry, they have got their backstop in Tiger out to the east, and he's taking shots over towards Rig to get the flush. Knocks over towards Vampire, or certainly damage, if not knocks just yet. And that's going to suppress that position nicely. Vitali for Inco has been knocked in the meantime, but Becker can reposition, wend his way through the streets of Severny to keep them going. Currently, Inco sat at the top of the tables, tied with S2G at this stage. 2 eliminations apiece puts them at 95. And anything more is gravy for Inco to open up that lead. Alpha 7, you talked about Revo not being able to count him out. See how much further he can go. He's currently 11 points behind that second place position on S2G.
I think getting towards the top placement probably high priority for him right now, but again, he has some time to play around with Severny still being just about in. T2K, Buddhadam all moving up towards Vampire Esports position. You can see
cool.
It's so horrifically tough for Buddhadam. Vampire Esports roasted them there.
Influence Kemin on the north side. DRS moved 2 up to them to maybe even guard them out. Nades from Rules and from Delta starting to pour over towards the beach side. As Influence Kemin have to make that crossing sooner rather than later. Law wanting to move up and get away from the rest of the team. They don't want to all go down here. Killer as well with an excellent sightline to control this crossing. However, DRS have to move themselves. Are they going to invest all this time just to take down Influence Kemin?
They can take down Influence Kemin, it means they can control the northern side of the map. I think that's what ideally they're looking for, but I would be very much doubting that Influence Kemin is going to let this one go easily. The DRS currently have the roadside. There's a very smart rotate from them to hold out the boys here. But Nay's coming through liberally. And the guys from Influence Kemin. One goes down already. Yante immediately has to move in for the assist. In the meantime, Federal gets up towards the roadside. What a play from him.
Delta
a very
close.
limited amount of time as well to make that happen.
Giante with 2 players to deal with now. Delta has to push around the side of the smoke, and Law not able to deal with it. Kayovsky lit up from the back. And Influence Kemin torn apart there. DRS now have that control on the northern side, Blank.
So important for them. DRS, really, really tough fight there for them, especially with the initial knock coming through, and Federal playing that one marvellously. Again, it's that 4v3, it's the man advantage that comes through to bear. But DRS now hold a very, very strong spot inside the circle with 4 players alive as well. It'll be tough to dismount them. 4EM, though, surprisingly still going with just their 2 players.
DRS smokes out. Roll forwards, Delta. Giante leading. Trying to snake back together there. 4AM with their remaining players, 2 of them to the south. Guxiao and Ting Chen wanting to hold out on the eastern side. T2K have been surviving to their credit under the supervision of Vampire, but they are right on the edge of this next circle. And they still have Tiger to worry about from Buddhadam. Inco on the inside have just been chilling for so long in Severny.
They haven't had to move. And this is something that Inco's very good at, is taking their time.
Okay.
It's picking their moment, man. They've got to pick their moment. Again, I'll say it one more time, it's that nitro boost. And it is very important that you don't hit that nitro boost too soon. You don't want to be rolling over the finish line. You want to be absolutely blasting past it.
Well, I mean, they won't have to move even in this next circle either if they don't want to. They might want to take a little bit more position, but Solus is going to be wanting for a little bit more than that. He's got plenty in catch. 2 players now for IHC looking to push on through. Alex flushed out, Godless dispatched by Lutz on the sidelines. A nice little third party, and it's just Demo. Ziol's too low to be a part in this fight, but Demo handles business on the inside of the calf and drops from the top rope. The heel was good, and Ziol keeps Godless alive.
Fireflux just not able to put up any kind of fight there versus IHCs. They swarm up on their position. T2K ripping apart Vampire Esports. They've remained on the south side for a long time, and quite quietly too.
Brilliant nades coming through to dispatch a lion's share of the Vampire position. 3 players down, and Ravenclaw cowed under pressure. Tiger has taken this opportunity for Buriram to move on up and actually take a backstab attempt, but unfortunately the crossing is not going to go well, and 7th place, 2 eliminations, is not going to be enough to lift you off the bottom of the tables in a position that was potentially very, very strong. Vampire have it all come crumbling down. Now, Buriram losing their last as well brings us to 5 teams remaining.
Vampire used to playing edge, don't expect anyone to be at their back, and don't prioritize that position as a threat. Unfortunately for them, it's where they do get taken down from.
T2K, 1 player lit up, 1 in the shack. Jane stays alive for now. It is in the next circle. Inco can still just play in these buildings, however, and with that sightline, with that hard cover, they can provide such a difficult time to everybody else in this lobby.
Inco, I've just waited this one out for the opportune moment. Now they're ready to go. DRS doing some serious damage over towards 4 AM. Again, absolute miracle that they've even got this far, to be honest. With that, Vitali takes some long shots over that way. 5 eliminations so far for Inco. This is where they're going to start to blast out, and they knew this compound would be extremely powerful if it remained in for a while. See where the circle goes. Will it still hold them in?
Once they've dispatched IHC, they have a ridgeline in front. They don't even have to cross the road. They still have the walls to play with, Blank.
Exactly. That is the most difficult scenario. Inco's once again identified the most based position here on the map, honestly. As long as they could remain in it, they knew that the rest of the game would be fairly simple. It's 4 AM out, 6 eliminations, still a 5th place with that. Going down to 2 early on is not a bad result whatsoever.
Any double-digit game is good news. And that's exactly what they were able to find here. IHC moving on in, but Vitali spots Godless on the broad side. Ziol as well, trying to move through the smoke, but DRS delivering on the promise of their position. Both of the players from IHC eliminated. 7 eliminations, 4th place. All of those points going over towards DRS. T2K surviving. Jane in the shack. Not in the next circle. We'll have to shift a little bit forwards, but it's 4 versus 4 with a wild card in T2K.
This is the time for patience though, John. Because Inco's exit from this position in Severny, quite difficult. Squash spot is Jane from T2K. They want all their attention to be able to be over towards DRS at the end game. But Jane's got perfect cover to play in, and DRS are happy to wait this one out. They've dropped smokes, in fact, even delay this game out even longer.
Position completely known here. Needs to burst the buggy. Takes too much damage from it. Ankles tagged by the play zone. And out goes T2K. 2 teams remain now in pitched 4 versus 4. Gianti looking for that heal. Becker taken pretty low as well, but does get the heal off himself in the blue zone. That'll be crunched forwards. Delta moves up to the crate, and that could be crucial, Blank.
That's the biggest move in all this, and the smokes are really good. Disorientated Inco a little bit, but getting these 2 players up, very important.
Oh no.
Squash, unfortunately, takes a hit to the zone. Vitali struggling to get across 2, and DRS might have just played this one out perfectly. Nenebete down, just Becker remaining. A horrid push for them going forward. I don't even think they can get the player back up on his feet. And DRS actually going for aggression now.
Vitali still active, but they get lit up by Delta, and DRS extend their hand and put the chokehold on the circle. DRS from the northeast side push on through. And the first match was theirs. Now, in match number 10, they're able to do the same.
DRS from Nepal, a really good result there, and from the back of some very good decisions. Taking that fight up towards Influence Kevin when there was a lot going on around the map, but understanding that northern side was going to be so important for buying them time for that end game, considering where Inco is playing in Severny. They knew that, look, we have the wall for us. We're just going to take pot shots at everyone out towards that side of the map on the east. But DRS